If you're watching this, there's a reason. You're part of a divine plan that's been in the works long before you even knew it. Yes, I'm talking to you. Right now, in this moment, God is calling you into a season of abundance like never before. The time has come to step into the fullness of what you were always meant to experience: peace, purpose, and prosperity in every area of your life. But here's the thing. This journey isn't just about waiting for things to magically fall into place. It's about understanding that you are chosen for greatness, and now it's time to align with God's plan and embrace what's already been set aside for you. So, if you're ready to discover how God's abundance is already on its way to you, whether you're struggling or thriving, this message is for you. And trust me, it's going to change everything. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you don't miss out on any more divine messages coming your way. And I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and let me know how you're feeling about this journey of abundance. The time has come. Are you ready? I'm not here to give you just another motivational speech. No, this is a divine call to action for you, the chosen ones. If you've been feeling a stirring in your spirit, a tug deep inside, then this message is for you. It's not by coincidence that you're hearing this right now. You are part of something much bigger, God's master plan for abundance, not just for you, but for the world around you. You see, we're all placed on this earth for a purpose far greater than we often realize. There's a divine order to the events of our lives, even when it feels chaotic. Every moment, every challenge, every triumph, and even every struggle is all part of God's beautiful design. You are here for a reason, and it's time to recognize that you are one of the chosen ones, those who have been selected to carry out a special purpose. God's master plan isn't just about survival or getting by. It's about thriving abundantly. And the abundance I'm talking about isn't just about material wealth. It's about the richness of spirit, the fullness of peace, the overflowing joy, and the purpose-driven life that God has prepared for you. You are meant to live in abundance, and this moment is your wake-up call to step into that life. I know it can feel overwhelming to think about all that's ahead, especially when the road seems uncertain or when life throws challenges your way. But let me remind you, there's a higher power at work. You're not here by accident, and you're not meant to walk this journey alone. Every obstacle you face, every setback, is just a stepping stone toward your true purpose. When you align yourself with the divine purpose that God has set for you, doors will open that you never even imagined. And it all starts with the belief that you are part of something bigger. The time has come to rise, to claim your place in God's plan, and to move forward with confidence, knowing that the abundance and blessings are already on their way. Let's take a moment to really understand what it means to be a chosen one. You've probably heard this term before, maybe even thought it sounded a bit mysterious or exclusive. But the truth is, you're part of this group, and you've always been. To be a chosen one isn't about being perfect or about having it all together. It's about being selected by God for a specific purpose, one that's uniquely yours. Now, if you've ever felt like you didn't quite fit in, or if there have been moments in your life where you've sensed a deeper calling, a kind of pull towards something greater, then you've experienced the essence of being a chosen one. It's not something everyone experiences in the same way, but for those who are called, it's undeniable. It's that feeling of being different, not in a bad way, but in a way that makes you realize you're here for something more. You might have moments where you look around at others and wonder why things seem so easy for them while you've had to work a little harder, or maybe even face challenges that don't seem to make sense. But those challenges, those moments of feeling out of place, are actually signs that you are being prepared for your calling. God doesn't choose the easy path for his chosen ones because he knows that you have the strength, the heart, and the spirit to rise above. Every struggle you've faced has been a lesson, a way of equipping you for what's to come. I want you to reflect for a second. Have you ever had a feeling deep down, maybe a quiet whisper in your soul, that you were meant for something bigger? Maybe you've been guided by intuition in ways that others don't understand. Or you've been drawn to causes, people, or ideas that feel divinely inspired. That's the sign of being a chosen one. You have been set apart for a purpose, and while it may not always be clear, there is a divine plan unfolding just for you. For some, being a chosen one comes with a deep inner knowing. It's not about being better than anyone else. It's about having a unique role to play in God's larger design. The calling might not always feel glamorous, and it often requires great strength and courage, but it is always purposeful. If you've ever found yourself questioning your place in the world, wondering why you've faced certain challenges or felt disconnected from the crowd, that's God's way of showing you that you're different because you're meant for something more. You're destined to rise above the ordinary and step into a role that only you can fill. So, take a moment to reflect on your life. How many times have you felt like you were meant to do something bigger, something that stretches you? Maybe you've heard the call in the quiet moments when no one else was listening, or maybe it's been a burning desire that never quite left your heart. These are the signs that you, my friend, are one of the chosen ones. You're not here by chance. You were placed on this earth at this very moment because God has a specific plan for you. And even if the path ahead isn't always clear, know that you are being guided, you are being equipped, and the purpose you're called to will be revealed to you step by step. You're not alone in this journey. God is with you every step of the way. When we think about success, what comes to mind? Often we picture financial wealth, material possessions, or achieving a certain social status. In our world, success is frequently measured by the things we can see, touch, and quantify. But I want to shift that perspective for a moment, because God's plan for your life isn't limited to what can be counted in dollars or seen with the eyes. It's about something far deeper, something that touches every part of who you are and everything you do. God's divine blueprint for abundance is not about just getting by or focusing only on the things the world values. His plan for you is far greater. It's about prosperity that goes beyond finances. It's a prosperity that touches every area of your life: your spirit, your emotions, your relationships, your health, and your mind. This is what true abundance looks like. It's a life overflowing with peace, joy, and purpose, no matter your bank account balance. Take a moment and think about your own life. Maybe you've worked hard for what you have. You've set goals, climbed mountains, and faced challenges, but still, there might be something missing. Perhaps you felt like there's more to life than what you're experiencing right now. That's because there is. God's plan for your life includes abundance in all aspects of your existence, not just the material. Let's start with spiritual growth. Prosperity doesn't always mean more stuff. Sometimes it's about your soul's growth and development. Have you ever felt a deep sense of inner peace after overcoming something you never thought you could? Or maybe you've experienced a moment of profound clarity when you finally understood your purpose, and everything in your life seemed to align. That's abundance too, abundance of wisdom, of clarity, and of connection to something greater than yourself. Then there's emotional peace. We all know what it's like to be overwhelmed or anxious, caught in the chaos of life. But what if peace wasn't something you had to chase after? What if it was part of God's plan for you? True abundance is emotional peace that lets you navigate the ups and downs of life with calm assurance. It's the peace that passes all understanding, the kind of peace that doesn't depend on circumstances, but comes from knowing that no matter what happens, you are safe in God's hands. What about your relationships? You know, sometimes we equate abundance with what we can buy or how much we can accumulate. But true abundance is found in deep, meaningful relationships, whether it's with family, friends, or even with yourself. The bonds you create, the love you share, and the connections you nurture are all part of God's abundance. These are the treasures that last, the things that fill you up in ways no material possession ever could. Have you ever been in a relationship that nourished your soul, made you feel seen, heard, and understood? That's abundance. And of course, there's health. We often talk about financial prosperity as the ultimate goal, but without good health, all the money in the world means little. Health is wealth in its truest form. God's plan for you includes a life where you are healthy, strong, and vibrant. Whether you're taking care of your physical body, nourishing your mind, or tending to your emotional well-being, all of these are key parts of the abundance God has in store for you. And sometimes that health comes not from chasing after the next miracle product, but from learning to live in harmony with yourself and with God's creation. So, what does all this mean for you? It means that success, true success, is not just about what you can see or hold in your hands. It's about the richness of life that you experience from the inside out. You were not meant to live in struggle, scrambling to get by. You were meant to thrive in every area of your life, and that is what God has promised you, a life of abundance, peace, and prosperity. A life where you are not just surviving, but living fully, deeply, and joyfully in alignment with His plan. When you begin to embrace this divine blueprint for abundance, it changes everything. The world might tell you that wealth equals success, but God's word says that abundance is about living in the fullness of what He has designed for you. It's not just about having more, it's about being more at peace, more connected, more joyful, and more fulfilled. And that, my friend, is the true abundance that God has in store for you. So take a moment to think about where your life might be feeling a little out of alignment. Where have you been seeking success in the wrong places? Where can you start to embrace God's abundant plan in your relationships, your health, your emotional peace, and your spiritual growth? The path to abundance is there for you, ready and waiting. It's not a distant dream, it's part of your reality, and it starts right now. The spiritual laws of abundance are not just abstract concepts. They are deeply rooted in faith and truth, principles that guide us toward a life filled with God's blessings. These principles aren't about getting more or taking more from the world. They're about aligning ourselves with God's will so that His abundance can flow freely into our lives. Three of the most powerful principles that underpin the spiritual laws of abundance are trust, gratitude, and divine timing. Let's begin with trust. Trusting in God is the foundation of abundance. It's the belief that He knows what's best for you, even when you don't fully understand the journey or the challenges you face. It's easy to look at your life and question why things aren't going the way you imagined. But true trust in God means surrendering control, knowing that His plans are far greater than your own. When you trust God, you invite His abundance into your life because you are no longer relying on your own strength, your own timing, or your own wisdom. You're surrendering to the divine plan, trusting that the universe is unfolding exactly as it should, and that the blessings you seek are already on their way. Think about a time when you've trusted someone completely, whether it was a parent, a friend, or a mentor. When you place your trust in them, you're not worrying about every little detail. You're simply walking alongside them, knowing they've got your back. The same goes with God. When you trust Him fully, you begin to see how things start to fall into place. You let go of the need to control everything and that's when the floodgates of abundance open. Next is gratitude, another key law of abundance. It might sound simple, but it's incredibly powerful. Gratitude is not just about saying thank you, it's about cultivating a heart that continuously acknowledges and appreciates the blessings that already surround us. It's about waking up every day and thanking God for the life you have, for the air in your lungs, the love you share, the opportunities in front of you, and even the challenges that are shaping your character. When you live in gratitude, you shift your focus from what you don't have to what you already have. And in doing so, you open the door to more blessings. God loves a grateful heart because gratitude acknowledges His presence and His gifts. The more you express thankfulness, the more you'll attract into your life. You begin to see how rich you already are, not just in material wealth, but in love, joy, opportunities, and spiritual growth. Gratitude aligns you with abundance because it signals to God that you are ready to receive more of His blessings. Finally, we have divine timing. This is perhaps the most challenging principle to embrace, especially in a world that moves so fast. We're constantly told to hurry, to get things done quickly, to achieve success now. But God's timing is different. It's perfect. It's not hurried, and it's never late. When you align with divine timing, you trust that the blessings you seek will come to you at the right moment, not a minute too soon, not a minute too late. Divine timing means understanding that everything in your life is unfolding according to God's plan. The setbacks, the delays, the moments of uncertainty, they're all part of the divine orchestration. When you let go of the need for instant results, you free yourself from frustration and disappointment. You understand that God is preparing you for something bigger, something better, and that He's working behind the scenes in ways you may not even realize. Have you ever experienced a time when something didn't work out exactly when you thought it should, but later you realized that it was better that way? Maybe a job opportunity fell through, but a better one came along months later. Or maybe you had to go through a difficult season, only to come out on the other side with a deeper understanding of who you are and what you're meant to do. That's divine timing at work. When you align with God's timing, you release the pressure to make things happen on your own, and you begin to trust that everything is moving according to a perfect divine schedule. When you trust God, live in gratitude, and surrender to divine timing, you begin to see the abundance of life in a new way. These principles don't just attract material wealth, they align you with the deeper prosperity that God has promised you. Abundance flows into your life when you open your heart, trust His plan, and recognize that the blessings you seek are already on their way. The universe is designed to support you when you align with these spiritual laws. So, ask yourself today, are you trusting God's plan for your life? Are you living in gratitude for what you already have? And are you surrendering to His perfect timing, knowing that all things are working together for your good? When you answer these questions, you'll begin to see just how much abundance is already present in your life, and how much more is on the way. Aligning with God's plan for abundance requires both faith and action. It's not something that happens passively. It's a process that requires your active participation, surrender, and willingness to trust in the journey, even when you can't see the whole picture. So how do you start to align with God's divine blueprint for abundance? It all begins with strengthening your relationship with Him and trusting the process, even when things feel unclear or difficult. The first step in aligning with God's plan for abundance is to deepen your connection with Him. This happens through prayer and meditation. Prayer is your direct line to God. It's your opportunity to speak to Him, express your desires, your worries, and your gratitude. But prayer is also about listening. It's about creating space for God to speak to your heart. When you take time each day to pray, you open yourself up to hearing His voice, to receiving His guidance, and to feeling His peace. Prayer isn't just a ritual, it's a conversation. The more you engage in this sacred dialogue with God, the clearer your path will become. But prayer alone isn't enough. You must also make time for meditation. Meditation is not just about clearing your mind, it's about tuning your spirit to God's presence. When you meditate, you make room for His wisdom to enter your heart. It's a moment of stillness where you can reflect on His word, listen for His voice, and allow Him to lead you. Meditation helps you connect more deeply with your own intuition and understanding of God's will. It quiets the noise of the world so you can hear the divine whisper that will guide you toward abundance. Now, while prayer and meditation are foundational, they need to be followed by action. This is where trust becomes essential. Trusting God means that you take steps forward even when the way isn't clear, even when you don't have all the answers. Trusting the process means moving forward in faith, knowing that God will show you the next step at the right time. It's easy to want to rush ahead, to try to control everything, or to force outcomes. But abundance doesn't work that way. It requires you to trust the path, to believe that even when things feel difficult or unclear, God is working things out in your favor. There will be moments in this process when you feel uncertain or even frustrated. You might wonder why things aren't happening faster or why you're facing obstacles. But this is where trust comes in. Remember, God's timing is perfect. He knows exactly what you need and when you need it. Your job is to stay faithful and keep moving forward, even when it doesn't make sense. Trust that the challenges are shaping you, preparing you for the blessings that are on the way. One powerful example of trusting the process comes from the story of Joseph in the Bible. Joseph was sold into slavery by his own brothers, and then he was wrongfully imprisoned. He could have easily given up, feeling like God had abandoned him. But instead, Joseph trusted God through every hardship. And in the end, God's plan for Joseph's life was greater than he could have ever imagined. He rose to power in Egypt, saving many lives during a famine. If Joseph had not trusted the process, he might have missed out on the abundance that God had in store for him. His story reminds us that even in the darkest moments, God's plan is at work, and trust is key to unlocking the blessings He has for us. In addition to trusting the process, you must also take action. This doesn't mean forcing things to happen, but it does mean showing up. It means being obedient to what God is calling you to do, even if it feels small or insignificant at the time. Maybe God is asking you to step out in faith and try something new, or perhaps He's nudging you to help others in a way you never expected. Whatever the action is, trust that it's leading you toward the abundance that He has promised. And even when you don't see immediate results, know that every step of faith you take is moving you closer to His purpose for your life. Taking action also involves being obedient to His word. God speaks to us through the Bible, and His guidance is clear when we take the time to study and meditate on His promises. As you deepen your understanding of His word, you'll begin to see how His plans align with your own desires for abundance. God's word isn't just for comfort, it's a roadmap for success. When you align your actions with His teachings, you position yourself to receive the fullness of His blessings. But the most important thing to remember as you align with God's plan for abundance is that the journey is just as important as the destination. The process is designed to grow you, shape you, and refine you. Even when it feels difficult or unclear, you can take comfort in the fact that God is with you every step of the way. Each moment of challenge is preparing you for the blessings that are just around the corner. So, take time each day to connect with God through prayer and meditation. Trust the process. Even when things seem hard, know that the steps you're taking are leading you to the abundance He has prepared for you. And most importantly, Keep moving forward in faith. Trust that God's plan for your life is one of purpose, abundance, and joy, and no matter where you are right now, you are exactly where you need to be to receive everything that He has for you. Trusting divine timing is one of the most powerful, yet sometimes challenging aspects of aligning with God's plan for abundance. In our fast-paced world, where everything seems to happen instantly, waiting can feel like the hardest thing to do. We want answers, we want results, and we want them now. But divine timing is different. God's plan unfolds at the perfect moment, and learning to trust that timing is a lesson in patience and resilience. You see, God's timing is always perfect. Not early, not late, but exactly when it needs to be. We might not always understand it in the moment, and sometimes we might even feel frustrated or confused. But when we trust that His timing is flawless, we open ourselves up to His abundant blessings. Patience, then, becomes a key part of this process. It's not about passively waiting for things to happen. It's about actively trusting in God's plan, knowing that every moment is preparing you for something greater. There's something powerful about the way God works. He doesn't rush things. He knows the right timing for everything. And this is where the lesson of patience comes in. Learning to trust the process, even when the answers aren't immediate and the path seems unclear. It's about understanding that the wait, the period of uncertainty, is not wasted. It's a time of growth, of developing resilience, and of learning to depend on God more deeply. I'll never forget a time in my own life when trusting in God's timing seemed impossible, but ultimately led to a miraculous result. It was a few years ago when I was in the midst of a career transition. I had spent years working hard in a field that no longer felt aligned with my purpose. I knew in my heart that I was meant for something more, but every time I tried to take action, doors seemed to close. The more I pushed, the more it felt like I was hitting a wall. I questioned everything: my skills, my calling, my timing. I remember praying fervently, asking God, "Why is this taking so long? What am I supposed to do next?" It felt like I was stuck, waiting for something to change, but no clear answers came. It was incredibly frustrating. But over time, I began to realize that God was teaching me patience. He wasn't saying no to my dreams. He was saying, "Not yet." As I let go of the need to control the situation, I felt a peace come over me. I started to trust that God had a perfect plan and that His timing was far better than anything I could orchestrate on my own. I decided to step back, take a breath, and focus on what I could do in the moment, instead of trying to force something to happen. And sure enough, when the time was right, an opportunity opened up that I never could have imagined, one that aligned perfectly with my purpose, my passion, and my skills. It was a turning point in my life, and I know without a doubt that it wouldn't have happened if I hadn't trusted God's timing. This experience taught me that waiting doesn't mean nothing is happening. It's a time of preparation. God was working behind the scenes, lining things up and setting the stage for something greater than I could see at the time. When I let go of my need to rush things and simply trusted in His perfect timing, the blessings that came were far beyond what I had envisioned. Patience is often the hardest lesson to learn because we live in a world that prizes speed and instant gratification. But trusting divine timing means that you're willing to wait with faith, knowing that God is working on your behalf. It's the understanding that the challenges you face today are shaping you for the blessings of tomorrow. It's not about sitting back and doing nothing, but about staying faithful, taking the right steps when prompted, and trusting that God's plan will unfold at the right time. Think of how a seed grows. A seed doesn't sprout into a tree overnight. It needs time to grow roots, to be nurtured by the soil, the rain, and the sun. Only then, at the right moment, does it begin to push through the surface and grow into something magnificent. You are like that seed. The waiting, the patience, and the trust you cultivate in this season are building the foundation for something far greater than you could ever imagine. In the end, trusting divine timing isn't about being passive. It's about having active faith. It's about trusting that God is working, even when you can't see the outcome yet. And when that moment of breakthrough comes, you'll realize that everything you've gone through, every delay, every challenge, was part of a greater plan, leading you to exactly where you need to be. So, as you move forward, remember, patience is not a sign of weakness or indecision. It's a powerful act of trust. Trust that God's timing is perfect. Trust that He's working things out in your favor. And when you look back, you'll see how the wait was worth it. The abundance that's coming into your life will be far greater than you could have imagined, and it will come at the perfect moment. Trust the process, trust the timing, and trust that everything is unfolding just as it should. This is your moment, right now. No more waiting, no more doubting. God's abundance is ready and waiting for you to step into it. The time for hesitation is over. This is the time to take bold, unwavering action toward the destiny that God has already prepared for you. As a chosen one, you have been handpicked by God for something extraordinary, and He is calling you to rise up and claim the abundance He has promised you. Your divine purpose is waiting, and now is the time to step into it. God has already equipped you with everything you need to fulfill His plan for your life. You are not lacking. You are not inadequate. You are more than enough, because God has made you so. You were created with purpose, and His blessings are in motion for you. It's easy to let fear, doubt, or the unknown hold you back, but I want you to remember that God is with you every step of the way. His protection, His guidance, His provision, all of these things are already in place for you. The only thing standing between you and the abundance God has for you is your willingness to take that first step in faith. It's time to stop holding back. No more waiting for the perfect moment. There is no such thing. The perfect moment is now. God's timing is always right, and He has equipped you for this season. Don't let fear of failure or the unknown paralyze you. Take that step forward, knowing that God's abundance is waiting for you on the other side. Trust that He will provide the strength, the resources, and the guidance you need as you move forward in faith. Think about the countless stories in the Bible of people who took bold action, trusting in God's promises even when they couldn't see the outcome. Think of David standing before Goliath with nothing but a sling and a stone, trusting that God would give him victory. Think of Esther, who risked her life to approach the king and save her people, trusting that God had placed her in that moment for a purpose. Think of Moses, leading the Israelites through the Red Sea, trusting that God would make a way where there seemed to be no way. These individuals stepped into their destiny with bold faith, and God did the impossible through them. And the same is true for you. You may not have all the answers right now. You may not know exactly how everything will unfold, but you know that God is with you, and that's all you need. The abundance He has prepared for you is within reach, but it requires you to step forward in faith. The first step is always the hardest, but it's also the most powerful. When you take that step, you are declaring that you trust God with your future. You are saying that you believe His promises, and you are ready to walk into the fullness of what He has for you. So, today, make the decision. Make the decision to step into your abundance. Take that first step, knowing that God is walking with you. Know that as you move forward, doors will open, opportunities will arise, and you will begin to see God's divine provision and guidance unfold in your life. Your destiny is waiting, and it's time for you to walk in it with boldness and faith. This is your time. The abundance you've been waiting for is not a distant dream. It's here. It's already yours, and all you have to do is take action. So, what are you waiting for? Step into your divine calling. Step into the abundant life that God has prepared for you. You are more than capable. You are chosen, and God's plan for you is bigger than anything you can imagine. Trust Him, take that step, and watch as He leads you into the life of abundance and fulfillment He has waiting for you. The moment is now. Don't wait another second. Step forward in faith and watch your destiny unfold.